number one, we're excited about this next phase of our program and where we're going and what we have out in front of us, and excited as heck as a football team and a program to be playing in the Poinsettia Bowl and playing against a team that has won 8 games or more for the last 8 years, and a great Navy team, and our kids playing in front of the Aztec Warrior Nation here at home is something they're all excited about and something we look forward to. And our preparation, we had 2 days of practice last week, and that was kind of a skeleton crew, if you'll have it. Most of the coaches were out on the road, but Coach Long, myself, Coach Borges, and the graduate assistants were here. And part of this is the development, obviously in game planning for Navy, but the other part of it is also in regards to our young and the development of the young players on our football team, and that's a big part of being able to play in bowl games and those extra days of work that you can get done. So we will continue to do that until about game week with the young guys, and get a lot of kids, a lot of snaps, a lot of reps, a lot of teaching, a lot of fundamentals, and a lot of technique. So we look forward to it. But it's all part of that excitement of being able to play your 13th game.
That opportunity to get these reps for the young guys, I mean, that's something that I think maybe gets overlooked. That is pretty significant.
Well, John, I don't think there's any doubt that, in being at other schools that have gone to bowl games, I think anytime you have that opportunity, we have a lot of young, talented guys that we feel are young, talented guys that we redshirted this year that, have been playing off a card most of the year, and so now their opportunity to get out there and react, and the fundamentals and the techniques at each position, that's huge for you as a program.
Yeah, who are some of those younger guys that you're excited about?
There's a lot of them, and I would do disservice, Eddie, to be honest with you, and not to mention, or to forget somebody in that. I just think, that there's a lot of guys, and guys that we're going to need. Obviously, a year from now with, you look at Azell Ruffin and you look at Jay Waddell, it's 2 receivers, and I'll mention them because everybody's going to, you lose DeMarco, you lose VJ. And so those 2 guys are very talented and got close to playing both of them, to be honest with you. But I think when you look at the maturity level, and not just from a physical standpoint, but a mental standpoint for freshmen, I think it's imperative that they get, they get acclimated to Division I football.
Do you have a percentage or a number of days that you're going to devote to developing guys like that and then practicing, or how?
Well, we're going to do a little bit of both. I mean, we're going to, the one thing about these practices that are so important, is the timing of your football team and the timing of your offense and the tempo that you want to play with. So we'll be, doing a lot against each other, ones-on-ones, which we tend to do a lot anyway. And just playing our offense against our defense and different situations, first down, third down, red zone, the different things, 2-minute, everything that you normally work on so you can keep that timing. But at the same time, we're going to devote, at least 30 plays of the young guys scrimmaging in game-like situation every day to at least until practice 8, and then we'll focus on a little bit more on the midline and the things that you have to do to defend Navy, which is a tremendous football team, and for us it will be a tremendous challenge.
Maybe when you were at Ball State, new coaching staff, I think. But does the players change, but does the system stay the same? And is there stuff from those previous games you can look back to, or has the system changed a little bit since?
Well, Ken was on that staff. I mean, he was on that staff with Paul Johnson, and the first year we played him at Ball State. Paul was the head coach when we played him there, and then Ken became the head coach when we played him at our place. But what makes them so effective and so efficient, they're third in the country in rushing offense. I mean, they're averaging 302 yards or 3 yards a game. Is they believe in their system. They believe in the option game. They recruit to it. They do a great job with that part of it. They're different than Air Force. Air Force has those elements, but Air Force also will be more conventional in what they do with some two-back stuff and in the passing game a little bit, where I believe Air Force had 163 different formations that we had to look at and get ready for. These guys are going to use 8 to 9. But what they've done is, they're more committed to the triple option series, and so I think when you're more committed to anything, you get better at it, and they have done a great job with it, and their kids obviously are disciplined in what they're doing. I think they're the least amount least penalized team, I guess I should say, in the country. I mean, they're what you would think. They're pretty much the same. And answering your question is, I don't see a lot of changes from what we did when we played them the 2 years there.
Rocky says that you need at least 3 weeks to prepare for a team like that. While the younger guys are getting work, are some of the older guys, defensive players, are they grinding on film and watching all that?
Oh, yeah. Our kids have done a great job with that all year, and, the preparation that they need to take. And a guy like Ernie Lawson, Ernie's in every day watching film. And he's one of those guys who was a football junkie, and so he does a great job with it. And a lot of the other guys are the same way. I pick Ernie out because he kicks me out of my meeting room every day so he can watch the film. And he just works hard at it.
Talk about some of those seniors besides Ernie who've had a pretty tough time here up until this season where they finally got some success, and just what it means to them to have this opportunity to play a 13th game. Can you see, are they really relishing that opportunity?
Well, I think they are, and they should. I mean, they should be proud of what they've done and what their legacy will be. But, at the same time, going to a bowl game is great because of the 15 days you get and the development and all that. But it's no fun when you lose. So our preparation is to go win the bowl game and do everything that we can as a team, by man, by position, by coach, to make sure that when we play on the 23rd, we're going to play our best football.
You talked about tempo a minute ago. Have you seen enough of Oregon to evaluate whether that's something that the way they play is something you would want to try to adapt? And do you see a trend?
Well, yeah, I know what you're saying. No, I think the trend's going backwards a little bit more than forward with it, for various reasons. I think that's something that they like to do, but at the same time, we've got teams in our league who like to do it. Utah is one of those teams, and they probably have slowed down a little more than they used to have. I think, in my previous stint at Ball State, Central Michigan was a team that was a high octane, high fast tempo, but I think the one thing about us defensively, because of what we do on defense, there's no advantage for anybody. We never huddle. We hardly substitute when you look at personnel groups, and most of those teams aren't going to substitute a lot of personnel groups, and because they want to go high tempo. So I don't know how much they gain from it. I think it's like everything else. I think football really is cyclical, and different things that come out. From the zone blitz, it was there for a long time. Some people use it still to some degree, but at the same time, there's a lot more going back to man free because of the zones you're giving up. I mean, I think everything just kind of goes around in circles to some degree.
From a defensive perspective primarily, does that appeal
to
you as an offense?
No, not at all. Not at all. One of my big things, Sully, is in right, wrong, or indifferent. I think when you're zone blocking all the time and when you're playing basketball on grass, to me, you practice against that all spring, you practice against it all fall, and then you're going to play a two-back team that wants to knock you off the football. I don't think you're prepared. I think there's a toughness level, and I still believe you win with defense. And again, that's been beaten to my head a long time. But I really believe that. And the toughness of your team has to be your offensive front and your defensive front. And in that offense, I don't see that being beneficial to your defense. It's one man's opinion.
You made that point about the previous conversation about what Michigan was doing offensively and defensively. And
I just think it all, you got to do what's best for your football team, and I don't know how you practice against each other, unless you're using scout teams all the time. Well, we like going ones-on-ones. One thing, what's great about Rocky and Al, because we're different defensively than most people will see, is Al understands that, and because of the different looks, likes it. And they both were together as coordinators at UCLA, so he's been through it before and understands that part of it.
You've seen, football is known as a copycat sport.
Yeah.
If a team has success like Oregon, do you expect numerous teams to adapt that kind of thing?
But I don't. But I don't know how new what they're doing is. I mean, that's been going on for the last 8 to 10 years. And really Gary Barnett at Northwestern probably was the first one when they had their good years, got going in the spread, and I know in the Big Ten they were the first ones.